Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Motoraina Podcast for today, the 12th of August 2025. I'm your presenter, Charlie Tolhurst, and we're returning the podcast today. Hello, everyone. I hope you've had a great week. You know, Formula One was on the other week at the Hungarian Grand Prix, won by Lando Norris on an alternative strategy. So F1 now on the summer break. We've got plenty of motorsport to review, though, and in today's show, we're going to be covering all the latest motorsport news, particularly over in the United States with the IndyCar and NASCAR races. And we've also got some news on some new car news as well, and also a brand new podcast, which is actually launched exclusively on Quadrant as part of the Quadrant label. So very interested to see how this goes on. Anyway, though, let's go over to the news. And the first bit of news, obviously, is the IndyCar, latest IndyCar road course race, which took place in Portland. It was the Grand Prix. It was the Grand Prix of Portland, and Will Power took his first victory of the season. He could have nearly had a winless run in 2025, but won that race, and it was an important win for Will Power in that one as well. He won the race ahead of Arrow McLaren's Christian Lundgaard, who kept up his pretty impressive form after an impressive showing in Laguna Seca to take second place. And in third place was Alex Palou, whatever you want to call him, in the number 10 Chip Ganassi Racing car Honda as well. Can I just confirm to you guys that Alex Palou has now won 4 championships in IndyCar. He's a 4-time champion. What a season he had. I mean, it's been one of the best seasons I've ever seen from Alex Palou. Drove really well. Only led 5 laps of that race as well during the pit stops and refueling periods, and done really, really well in that race to finish on the podium. He did have a little look at Christian Lundgaard late on. The pass didn't quite work out. He did run off. He did run wide at one point late on in the race in his pursuit of the Arrow McLaren driver, but he'll be happy with a third place. And crucially, he wraps up the the IndyCar Championship as well, with only a couple of rounds left, a few races to go. So, yes, Alex Palou was third there, completing the podium, and also 2025 champion. Graham Rahal was fourth, ahead of Alexander Rossi in fifth. Ilott was sixth. McLaughlin was seventh. I think he got into the wars in qualifying, with a practice of qualifying as well. Armstrong was ninth. Felix Rosenqvist. Armstrong was eighth, sorry. Ninth was Felix Rosenqvist, his teammate in the Meyer Shank Racing powered car there as well. Colton Herta take the final point for Andretti Global. Then Dixon, who had collision with Joseph Newgarden after Newgarden come out the pits. Christian Rasmussen, 12th position. I have to say, guys, Christian Rasmussen was very aggressive in that race. I was not particularly big fan of the way he drove in that race. Contact with multiple drivers as well. Also, had a big crash. Also was involved in a pretty horrible accident, which was it Connor Daly who actually had crash on lap 13. Connor Daly and Christian Rasmussen getting in the wars. Rasmussen, people in the comments saying he should have been black flagged. Well, I mean the driving wasn't very great there from the Ed Carpenter Racing number 21 car at all there. I hope he matures up for the next race. Louis Foster was 13th, Stingray Robb 14th, Robert Schwartzman 15th in the Juncos Hollinger Racing car, in the Prema, sorry. Stingray Robb was in the Juncos Hollinger. Nolan Siegel 16th, Renus VK 17th, Di Francesco Malukas, Kurtwood are the 20 drivers. And Santino Ferrucci had contact, and unfortunately for Pato O'Ward, 100 laps, 10 laps away from the checkered flag, Pato O'Ward's McLaren decides to blow up. Basically, not necessarily blow up, but basically lose the car. The car just broke down. It was a bitter way to lose the championship. It was a horrible way to lose the championship. I don't think he would have won anyway. It would have taken a miracle for him to win it. he would have had to meant Alex Palou, he would have had to have effectively won. And he was challenging at the front. He looked competitive early on, but just unfortunately all got a little bit unlucky for him. Very unlucky. I'm very gutted for Pato because, he done really well during a couple of the oval events, one in Iowa as well. And just, I was unlucky, and Toronto as well. Just, I felt I was gutted for him. Honestly, absolutely gutted. To see what happened there as well. Just absolutely gutting for Pato O'Ward. But that is it, guys. Alex Palou is the champion for 2025. No matter what the remaining races are, because Pato O'Ward cannot claw back enough points. There is not enough points available for the final meetings of the season. And in fact, the final meetings for the IndyCar season, we have got a few more meetings to go. We've got on the 24th of August, the Milwaukee Mile, Snap-on Milwaukee Mile 250, the Borussia Bourbon Music City Grand Prix at Nashville's Super Speedway to complete the season on the end of August. So, it is a shame. But Alex Palou is the champion of the IndyCar series. And congratulations to him. He's been amazing this season. Definitely deserved it. Form's been unbelievable out the whole season. And just, just been as well. This was the driver reaction from the IndyCar Portland race. So it certainly was very interesting. I now have the IndyCar reaction to all of the drivers after the Portland race. Have a listen to this.
Champion Alex Palou, can you take us through that?
Yeah, obviously we got the pole yesterday. We had an engine penalty, put us back to P7. I knew the pace was in the car. I think if we would have started further up, I think the result would have been a little different today. I think we could have had power. We gave it everything we had. Obviously, I don't really know what's happened to Pato yet. It's just unfortunate for the 5 car. So at least we could pick up some of the pieces.
You really gave it all you had. Ran out of fuel after the checkered flag had to be towed back here to pit lane. How much of a team effort was it today?
All weekend. I think everybody's recharged so much throughout last week, the week off, and I said it a couple of days ago. There's no racing without the truckies. There's no racing without the mechanics. So to have 2 P2s in a row is nice, but it's also really annoying because that means we were first loser twice.
Hey, that means on to Milwaukee, right?
Of course, we have two races more.
Thanks, Christian.
Back-to-back winners here in Portland. So much unknown about your future. Can you just put into words what that win means today?
I think it's just a big win for all the team, man. I mean, we've had a rough year, and it's not really because we've been off the pace. It's just been unfortunate circumstances. I've had 2 engine failures, a tyre failure, so it's a good hard-fought win. It kind of split that strategy at the beginning. We picked the strategy to run hard, pull enough of a gap, and a bit dicey at the end there. But, just stoked. I've had a great career with Verizon and Penske, so I really, really enjoy winning for the guys and everyone I've worked with for a long time. So it's awesome.
Congratulations, man. I hope it carries on. Well done.
And understandably, he wanted to greet every member of this Chip Ganassi racing team. That's Ricky Davis, has been one of his key mentors since he came and joined this team and won a championship in 2021. Now it's 4 and 5. I want to strike you with this. Only AJ Foyt and Scott Dixon have won more championships than you. What does that mean?
It's unbelievable. It's crazy. I couldn't be happier right now. This has been an amazing season, an amazing 5 years with CGR. I have no words to describe how grateful I am to everybody at CGR, especially Chip, our partners, and all our fans. All our fans have been supporting us throughout the season, throughout these seasons. And to everybody that is new, welcome to the ride. This has been an amazing year, and cannot wait for more.
This is a championship that always comes down to the last race. You have clinched with 2 to go. What have you found on your competitors?
My team, the team I have behind me, all our partners, Honda, that has given us all the power we needed every single weekend. But my team, the car, has been unbelievable. Also today, it was a shame that we couldn't really ended with another win, but we fight it. I gave everything that I had. I tried everything to try and overtake Lundgaard, but I couldn't make it today.
It's still another podium for Alex Palou. It's championship number 17 for Chip Ganassi. That ties Team Penske for the most in IndyCar history.
Wow, I mean that's insane, isn't it? 17 titles, the same as same as Penske for Chip Ganassi, 17 titles. But only the fourth driver to win 3 consecutive IndyCar titles. I mean, that is just it's an unbelievable record for Alex Palou there, and I think he is going to be he's definitely got future potential in an F1 seat. Obviously, depending on his age, but we still don't know what's happening with a Cadillac seat. There are rumours that Valtteri Bottas and Sergio Perez have been lined up for that seat. But keep an eye, guys. The driver market may change, and could we see an IndyCar driver in F1 in the future? Let me know down in the comments here on YouTube, because I do have to say I definitely think there is some potential for that to happen. But like I said, in watching interviews, Will Power seemed very, admitting the faults of the season. I feel sorry for Will because he just had poor luck this year. Will Power, just Penske, unfortunately had that issue in the Indy 500. I think all their cars got disqualified. It was unfortunate what happened to them. But a win for Will Power was a great win. And I think he goes very well around that track. So yeah, but 2 ovals left to complete the season, and that is it for IndyCar. Moving on now to the NASCAR Cup Series now. And oh my goodness me, Shane Van Gisbergen has done it again on a road course. I said he was the king of road courses this season. He's taken his 4th win of the year on a road course. I know he might not be that competitive on ovals, but trust me, that Trackhouse Racing Chevrolet Camaro is a monster on the road courses. If we go Charlotte Roval this year, look out again, because that is part oval, part road course. I think he's got a big shot this year at a championship. I hope he can. If he wins a championship, it'd be amazing. But yeah, the 36-year-old from Auckland, 36-year-old from New Zealand, won. It was his 4th win of the year on the road course. The Trackhouse driver joined 2020 champion Chase Elliott and NASCAR Hall of Famer Jeff Gordon as the only drivers to win 4 consecutive Cup races on road or street courses, unlike his prior wins in Mexico City, Chicago, and Sonoma. Van Gisbergen was unable to start on pole after Ryan Blaney edged him out, but after qualifying second, he bided his time past Ryan Blaney, on the lead for the lead on lap 25 of the 90-lap race, and then drove, settled into a rhythm, and then drove effortlessly to win. It was a great win, and obviously there was cautions as well. John Hunter Nemechek spun off in the race as well. So obviously the playoff watch, Chris Buescher finished 3rd, improved 34 points ahead of Roush Fenway's Brad Keselowski teammate Ryan Preece in the final playoff spot. Buescher outdueled Van Gisbergen on the final lap to win Watkins again last year. His team tailored the strategy Sunday towards amassing stage points instead of following the win-oriented strategy used by Van Gisbergen. But also in some more racing, Ty Gibbs, who made contact, as I said, with John Hunter Nemechek in stage 2 and then complained about handling in his number 54 Joe Gibbs Racing Competition director Chris Gehart, recently been working the strategy consultants Gibbs team. Radio driver to say stay in the game after Nemechek wreck, and later took the issue as Ty Gibbs then questioned the strategy of the car. But there was also a few other cautions. I think there was only 3 cautions in that race, so pretty smooth sailing actually. And there was one time where I think when Nemechek spun, they actually did not throw a caution, but then they threw a caution because there was debris on the track from where he hit the wall. The Cup Series will be back on an oval race now. Richmond will play host to its only NASCAR race weekend this season. The 0.7 mile oval had 2 annual races from the Cup Series schedule between 1959 and 2024. So Richmond only having the 1 race this year. But as I said, guys, Shane Van Gisbergen taking the win there at Go Bowling in the Glen. Go Bowling at the Glen. Unfortunately, the results don't look like they've updated on here from the other day. But what we can say is Shane Van Gisbergen has won that race. It was an amazing result. Another victory lane performance there. So it was Van Gisbergen ahead of Christopher Bell, Chris Buescher, William Byron, Chase Briscoe, Ryan Blaney, Daniel Suarez, Bubba Wallace, who finished in the points again on another road course, done well. Tyler Reddick, Ross Chastain, top 10, and then all the way down the bottom you had Larson, who had another shocking weekend, despite already being in the playoffs for winning earlier in the year. Then you had Catherine Legg, Josh Berry, Chase Elliott down there as well, Brad Keselowski, John Hunter Nemechek, who had the spin. So yeah, it's all to play for in the next race at Richmond. So this weekend certainly be an interesting weekend for NASCAR. Moving on now to the next bit of news, which I'm going to cover on the podcast. That is car news now, because there has been some major news from a company that I used to own. Yes, you might remember Ford. Yes. I used to own a Ford Fiesta. I had a blue one. Deep Impact Blue is the colour I actually remember that I had the car. It was a little blue Fiesta 3-door. Great little car, that one, actually. But Ford have announced some new car news that I really want to share with you guys. I know this is unfortunately not going to be great if you're a petrol fan. I know a lot of you guys aren't particularly keen on this news, and I think a lot of you guys might not be that keen. However, if you're an EV lover, Ford will announce that they're offering a new range of affordable EVs in 2027. So, Ford have announced some news, and I'm going to share it with you now, because this news is actually very, very important, and I want to cover it in a bit more detail on here. So Ford will announce that a new range of affordable electric cars are based on new EV platform created for a new revolutionary process. Now, it's claimed to be as revolutionary for the companies as the arrival of the Model T, the universal platform created during the near-free Skunkworks project, will be first used for a mid-sized double-cab pickup truck that will arrive in 2027 and will be priced at around £22,000. Ford CEO Jim Farley said more models will follow, with Ford hinting these will include a hatchback, crossover, van. So could we see maybe an update to Transit coming, or even potentially the Ranger, the pickup truck, and a free bench SUV, which are likely to start around the same price. Now, the cheapest Ford EV model currently on sale, obviously, is the Puma Gen E, which I saw at Goodwood Festival Speed. That compact crossover started at around £29,995, so just under £30,000 for the Puma Gen E. It is expensive. Like I said, electric cars are expensive. Ford have also announced that the first EV has been created on Ford's home market. It'll be positioned to take on the Amazon Black Slate truck to boost sales in the US market. Other Ford EVs would include a Mustang Mach-E SUV, F-150 Lightning pickup truck, and an E-Transit van. And there's also potentially rumours that the Ford Ranchero name could come back as well. Imagine, does anyone remember the old Ford Rancheros of years ago? They done one up on Wheeler Dealers. It was like a 1970s, 80s pickup truck. People used to actually saw them in half, by the way. They used to do that. And they are known for being rust buckets. So, yeah, the Ford Ranchero name could be coming back. Very interesting indeed. Comment down below, guys, if you've ever owned a Ford Ranchero. Let me know. They used to be called the Ford Falcon. But then they cut the half back of it enough and then turned it to pickup, called it Ranchero. So, yeah, anyway, have you got any comments? If you owned a Ford Ranchero and you're watching in America on this Motormania podcast, please let me know in the comments, because this podcast is brought to you on YouTube. We've got worldwide audiences, by the way. Now, moving on to the final bit of news of the podcast today, and I'm very excited for this news, actually, because this is a brand new podcast, which is coming exclusively to a channel called Quadrant. Well, it's actually not on Quadrant's channel. It is basically going to be a brand new podcast. It's associated with Quadrant. If any of you guys are a Lando Norris fan like myself, McLaren fan, or a Lando Norris fan, any of you guys watching the stream, I'm sure if you're a Lando Norris fan and you've got any questions, let me know. Because I did try his monster drink the other day from Home Bargains that I bought. But yes, there is a new podcast coming for Quadrant. It's called The Quadcast, and it's going to be hosted by Max Fertwell and Izzy Hammond. Obviously, Izzy Hammond very big in the world of social media at the moment, particularly on motoring. She's a obviously presenter on Drive Tribe, Richard Hammond's daughter. I think she's an amazing presenter, actually. She's got great personality, and it's amazing over the last year or two that she's really developed a massive passion for cars. And it's in a heavily male orientated industry. It's great to see more females coming into this. And trust me, guys, I'm hoping to meet Izzy in a couple of weeks at Drive Tribe Live at Bicester Motion or Bicester Heritage. So I'm going to that event, and I'll probably do a video on that when I come back from it. But anyway, I've got the news. Obviously, if Max or Izzy, you're watching this podcast, please let me know how the podcast went on. Obviously, this podcast will be available on Spotify. The first episode has already been released on the 12th of August. And the Quadcast is a motorsport podcast that will be hosted by Max Vettrell and Izzy Hammond. It focuses life on the track. According to the Instagram post, the first episode was released recently. It features conversations with drivers and other motorsport talent about their experiences. The podcast is also available on various platforms as well. I have to say, guys, I am absolutely delighted with this news. We need to have a podcast, and it's great to see Izzy jumping on the bandwagon with this, because obviously she's done Who We Are Now with her dad, Richard, which was a podcast focusing around, I think it was men's mental health. It was a mental health podcast. So it's great to see Izzy jumping into motorsport. I know she's a big F1 fan, particularly a big fan of Max Verstappen, who I know is struggling at the moment down at Red Bull. And Red Bull obviously have not been that competitive at all this season. But it's great to see her jump in with Quadrant for this one. And Quadrant obviously is Lando Norris's esports team. And, they've got a huge presence on YouTube. They do loads of videos. Max Vettrell, he actually has done some content himself with Lando Norris. I always enjoy watching Quadrant. They always do some great videos, and it's always catchy. They always have this catchy sense of humor. It's really fun. That their sense of humor is really, really good to watch, and I enjoy the joyful atmosphere on that channel. So it's amazing to see that this has now become a permanent edition or permanent podcast. Now you can watch it on Spotify and many other platforms as well. And it's great that the first episode got published just today. So August the 12th, 2025, the first episode of the Quadcast. I can't wait to listen to this. It sounds amazing. So any questions on that podcast, please let me know in the comments. But that is it, guys, for the Motoraina podcast for today, the 12th of August. Thank you so much for watching. I'll be back again next time for another edition of the Motoraina podcast, talking all things motoring, wheels, and motorsports, and much more. Thank you for listening, everyone. Take care. And goodbye.